One more time. I'm looking for the best control possible. I'm looking for like a hold that can give me enough time to set up the sweep. Not a hold that's gonna last too long, but a hold that gives me like the opportunity. And just like I was looking before, if I cannot have the underhook, I go on top of the neck, I go on the collar tie. And if I don't have the wrist, I go straight on the elbow. If I don't have the 201, this works. But the same way how I pick the person up before and then he keep his balance, I can keep him up and then he just don't fall. If the person is taller than me, doesn't matter how high I go, his leg can always be able to stop my sweep because he's just too high. So I have to be able, instead of sweeping with just my flexibility or with my reach, I have to sweep in like based on like a breaking his post, breaking like his defense. And even I don't have the underhook like before. If I have the collar tie over here and I start lift it up from this position, I cannot take too long. If he lands over here, he's gonna full underhook on me. So even with him there, my foot has to go over there. Remember, then before when you did this, I don't have no underhook, so I have just the neck control. So as soon as the other person open up, I get the underhook. If he doesn't open up, I'm just stay over here and just looking for like maybe a north-south position. But remember, if you don't have underhook, but you just have the back of the neck control, waiting for the underhook. As soon as the person do the underhook, you take. And if he's just tucking his elbow, I'm sorry I'm going that far, but we need to remember this. If the person always just tuck his elbow, also he's not escaping, you know what I mean? He cannot escape if you don't go to the person's leg. You cannot escape from your back on the floor if you just keep your elbows tight. When I say escape, like you cannot get back on top, you need to post your hand, you need to underhook. So as soon as the person open up, you get the underhook on him. One more time, other side. I don't have no underhook. I go on the collar tie, he keep his balance. Leg goes there. Switch. One last thing. If you pick the person up and if the leg is so close, I can always take this leg. I can always take this leg and change everything. We have X guard, but I don't have to switch. I don't have to switch, you know what I mean? If I have options, you know what I mean? When I say options, like I still have options from that. And the whole thing is this: I lift him up. If I get over here, I can almost push his leg down. I can almost go here and just kind of push his leg down. I cannot take too long in the air, but I can go with my foot, push his leg a little bit, and climb my foot a little bit above his knee. Because if I want to break his post, I cannot be below his knee. It has to be above his knee. And once you kick the top of his knee, I believe like if you have the back of the neck, if you have the arm, if he's in the air, he's gonna fall. And as he fall, you just need to look to stay there and hope with a good underhook.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and address one more reaction that our opponent is gonna give us that's gonna force us to not be able to use the framing under the arms technique, okay? So in this reaction, our opponent can be grabbing our belt or they can be with their hands on their hips, okay? Just go with your hands on my hips, okay? But the main thing is that their elbows are tucked inside and their hands are not like overly extended like on my belly or my armpit. They're closer to my hips or my belt area, okay? So now when his hands are in this position, if I can hip up and dig my hands under his arms, you guys can see it's really hard for me to get my frames inside. I can't get inside of his arms, okay? So instead, what you guys have to do is go behind his elbows to open his arms. So how I am right now, I'm squared with him. I'm not gonna get very deep behind his arms, right? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do like a side crunch in order to get my hand as deep as possible behind his elbow. So I'm getting a nice, good grip. If you guys can see, my fingers are like all the way wrapped around his arm. So my hand's really deep behind his elbow. And then now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna side crunch the other way. and I'm gonna get really deep behind his elbow. Now I'm gonna open up his arms. At the same time, I pull him down with my leg. Here. Okay? At this point, I'm gonna swim my hand underneath his arm, up to the sky. I'm gonna control behind his armpit. My other hand now is gonna go under his arm, and I'm gonna lock my hands, and I'm gonna keep my chin tight to his shoulder here. Okay? Let's change the angle. At this point, you can maybe go on the belt this time so we can show. At this point, see, I'm trying to frame. It's impossible. His elbows are so tight, right? So instead of trying to frame, I'm going to move myself to the side, grab behind his elbow, move myself to the other side, grab behind his elbow, pull, and bring my knees to my chest. Here, see how his elbow's open? You can keep holding the belt, Yippee. That's fine. Now I'm going to go under his arm. Look how my elbow goes in tight to my body. My hand goes under. My elbow goes under. Then my hand goes through and up. Grab across his back. Other hand can go under his arm in order to get the underhook. So my hands are both going to go through opposite ways, right? Because I want one overhook, one underhook. Okay? So this hand goes under and around. My opposite hand, instead of going all the way around, let's turn, Yippee. Instead of going all the way under and around, we can just go right through the front to the back. Lock my hands and keep my head tight. And we're in our attacking position.
All right, we've covered side control, mount. Let's talk about knee ride. Knee ride's not a position you see a lot of people overly use in nogi because of the chances that if the bottom player can invert, they can go straight to leg entries. But it doesn't mean we can't at least use this position to bridge into other leg riding styles, right? And there'll be two sort of styles we can do. We can force them to commit one direction, or we can be reactive to a knee elbow escape from this position to create a leg riding pin on one side. So if I've landed on knee ride on Tyler for a second, what I was saying about heel hook entries is if I don't keep my weight position correctly, Tyler can invert straight to the legs. But what you saw when he did that, his knees have to come and then his hips come. So he has to use his knees to create inversion pressure. So obviously, if I distributed some weight back into this direction, gone is the inversion ability. So let's face. So again, let's say landed in knee ride, immediately use my foot to hook as close to the knee as possible. I won't turn him from down here, but I will turn him from that highest point. And then we can bunker down and keep our weight back on the leg ride. Another option as well is if I'm heavy so he can't invert, but he starts the knee elbow escape, we can bring our leg back across here. So as that knee elbow escape comes, I'm settling and reinforcing straight away. Again, Tyler's trying to move here. We've created a very strong style of pin here. During knee ride, he starts to hook escape. I turn my knee to the left to create an initial staple. We reinforce it, and then we can start adjusting to separating or pinning style pressure. So again, we have an active and reactive entry into leg rides from knee ride. Again, being cautious of your opponent's ability to invert because they can go straight into leg entries.
All right, guys, very nice. So let's work now, okay? Counter the half guard, okay? Like when the guy might be trying to go, you're applying the knee cut, and the guy trying to go for a single leg on you, you're gonna surprise him with a back take. So on this position, the idea is I wanna give my partner a little bit of space that he think that he's going to somewhere, but actually he's not. Sounds good? So I'm gonna go over here, okay? I wanna be here with Kenny. Kenny, applying the knee cut, I always want to apply the knee cut, stay low, right? And my hand on his collar, let's just turn a little bit. My hand on his collar over here will be really important at this point. Sounds good? So I'm gonna keep my hand on his collarbone. I don't wanna keep it too deep and like turn his head like this way. Okay, I will keep it like if it was loose. So that's gonna give him the impression that he's doing good. So as I see that he's trying to apply the underhook over here and trying to go to my leg, when I put my weight to my right side over here, I become really heavy. And if I just wanna like knee cut and stay and open my hand and stay in the side control, I will have a good chance to do that, okay? But as I pass, I'm gonna start giving him the impression that he can go. So I'm gonna like move my hip back a little bit, but look how I keep on my toes over here. I'm gonna move myself back a little bit. Once he start coming up, my hand, I'm gonna dive right inside of his inner thigh. I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna put my shoulder behind his back like this, and I'm gonna start like turn, drop my hip, and I'm gonna pull him to the middle of my legs like this. You see? So once I land over here, I'll have the hand in the collar, and I'm ready to go for the submission. So once again, I'm gonna be here, knee cut. I'm gonna start like he's gonna push me and then start like going for the single leg. I'm gonna start like sliding my knee back, give him like the space so he can come up. My hand, look, I'm gonna put my hand right here on his inner thigh, and I'm gonna cup his inner thigh, look away, put my shoulder behind, drop, and I'm gonna push him inside like this. Get both hooks in. Once I land over here, I'll have my hand in the collar as well, ready to choke him. And then my other hand can go over here, look for the other collar. I can use the cross collar choke, and I can use all the variations that you know, like from the back. Very good option that as you end up with the hand in the collar ready to choke your opponent. Sounds good? So one more time over here. I'm gonna try to do a little bit more like in a faster pace, okay? So I'm gonna be here, the guy goes, I'm gonna be sprawling, I turn, boom, and then I'm gonna be here ready